Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Tower of God New World. Man, that marble. You guys need to stop doing this to me, bruh. I thought they were going to drop the kit reveals tomorrow. They always do it the night before the update drops, but they did it 2 days early. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. Like, I woke up and I just got a bunch of messages to us just spamming me saying, post the video, Faros. Reveals are up. And I'm like, bro, I just woke up. Goodness, man, that Marvel, you guys are killing me with this. Have a set time release or something. Like, have a schedule. So inconsistent. But we have Data Khun Asensio, Kit Reveal, and Reflejo. So, of course, we already know that Khun Asensio is going to be a warrior unit, which is really dope. So, let's go ahead and check out his trailer. So, let's go ahead and click play. And let's see what he got. Let's click loop. This guy looks cool, by the way. Really, really cool. Can't wait to get this guy. So he is a spear bearer. So, okay. That's just an attack right there. There it is, the projectile block. Okay, so he's throwing his spear around. I think that's his ultimate, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and go back just a little bit here. So for his first attack right here, let me go ahead and pause it real quick. So for his first attack right here, it's just a normal attack. Like, he's just doing a normal attack. It seems like there's no effects on the enemy, no provocation. And then this is him blocking projectile attacks. And then if an enemy is standing in that blocking projectile field, they're gonna take some damage, it seems. And it seems like they're gonna be stunned or something like that. But he's blocking projectile attacks, and it's a huge AoE field. I feel like this is definitely going to be beneficial for units who are standing inside of this barrier. For example, Kunadan. If he's standing inside of this, that's pretty dope. But I'm pretty sure Kunadan, he can block projectile attacks himself. So the fact that it's AoE, this can be really, really good for units like Evan, who are, keeping the team alive. This is actually pretty nice. I didn't know it was going to be a huge AoE field, very similar to Khun Mashini. And then he has some sort of like boomerang attack. So those are pretty much his animations. Looks pretty solid overall. So let's go ahead and check out his kit. So first thing first is his passive perfection. It says if a flying fish is not present on a battlefield, Asensio recovers a number of energy every second. If a flying fish is present on the battlefield, Asensio's HP does not fall below a number and his attack increases by a percentage. This buff cannot be removed with buff removal skills. So for the flying fish, it says if it's present on the battlefield, his HP doesn't fall below a certain number and his attack increases by a percentage. So you want to make sure that the flying fish is always on the battlefield. Like, it has to be on the battlefield consistently. And it says if a flying fish is not present, he's going to recover energy, which is really dope. Now, next active skill, Molino de Viento. I don't know. Asensio becomes immune to status effects and spins his spear to block projectiles, dealing percentage of his attack as damage to nearby enemies number of times, plus jolting them, so he's also stunning them as well. If a flying fish is present on the battlefield, Asensio recovers HP equal to a percentage of the damage dealt. Pretty nice. So he has HP recovery for his active skill and projectile block and dealing some damage. Next thing we have here is active skill Aqua Slash. It says Asensio powerfully swings his spear to deal percentage of his attack as damage number of times. Then, if a flying fish is present on the battlefield, the skill is guaranteed to land and silence the targets for a number of seconds. Each time a flying fish successfully lands an attack, the skill's cooldown decreases by number of seconds. This is actually pretty nice. So it says Asensio powerfully swings his spear. So this is probably, the thing that Marvel was talking about of him dealing insane damage. They say he's going to deal powerful damage. So this is probably the active skill because it says if a flying fish is present on the battlefield, he's going to silence the enemy for a number of seconds. So he has some, crowd control effects in his kit, which is honestly pretty good. Plus he has skill cooldown reduction. So that seems pretty solid, man. That seems pretty solid. We just have to wait and see how much damage he can deal with this active skill. Now for his special move, it says Asensio Flying Fish Spear skill. Asensio hurls a number of flying fish swords towards the enemy. Flying fish deals a percentage of Asensio's attack as damage to all enemies in their path, decreasing physical resistance by percentage for a number of seconds, max number stacks. Flying fish lasts a number of seconds and bounce off the edges of the battlefield. The skill activates only when there are no flying fish present on the battlefield. Very interesting. So if he has like max energy and there's already flying fish on the battlefield, he's not going to use his special move. He's only going to use his special move if there's no flying fish on the battlefield. So his entire kit revolves around flying fish. Like his entire kit revolves around his special move. And you know, he has physical resistance to shred. The fact that he has stacks, he can probably do it by a lot. We don't know how much, but I'm guessing it's going to be around like 30 or 40% of physical resistance shred. But yeah, that's pretty much his kit so far. If I'm being honest, I mean, he has physical resistance shred. He has a cooldown, skill cooldown reduction. He has, what else he has? He has silence. He has stun, projectile block. Like, he can do a lot of stuff. He can do a lot of stuff. And I really have to see if, you know, he can deal really good damage with this active skill right here. But other than that, his kit seems pretty solid. And you know, if he has great survivability, I feel like that's going to be very beneficial for a light element because the projectile block attack, the field that he summons on the battlefield, it's really, really huge. And that can be very, very beneficial for, you know, allies. So it's pretty much Khun Asensio's kit. Looks pretty solid overall. Now we're going to go ahead and move on over to our next unit, which is Reflejo. Reflejo, he's going to be a fisherman warrior unit for purple element. Let's go ahead and check out his gameplay. Put this in loop. Here we go. Reflejo. This guy looks sick, man. I'm excited to see what he can do because they were hyping him up in that dev note. So, okay, he has some sort of like X mark attack, very similar to Joaquin. Okay. Okay, and he has like a shield. And then this is pretty much going to be his ultimate. Very interesting. Let's go back again. Go ahead and pause it right here so we can see it. So for this right here, it's like a simple X mark attack right here. It's very similar to Joaquin's, except the difference is his doesn't go forward. Joaquin's goes forward. His just stays there. So I'm pretty sure this is probably going to be like damage over time or something. Like it's going to deal continuous damage. I don't know. But very interesting. And in this right here, it's this has to do with like the stacks. I'm pretty sure they said that he has to have some sort of stacks. Like he has to have a certain amount of souls stacked. So I don't know. This is probably, you know, associated with the stacks for his kit. And then he has some sort of barrier right here, which is very interesting. So it's pretty much his trailer right here. Now let's go ahead and read his kit. So for his passive Fragment of Shadow, it says Reflejo uses basic attacks that deal damage to enemies within range in a fan-shaped area. When the last basic attack hit lands, targets have their evasion decreased by percentage for a number of seconds, max number of stacks, and Reflejo gains 1 Fragment of Shadow, max number of stacks. So that's the stacks I was talking about. The Fragment of Shadow is probably the skill where he's pretty much throwing those shadows at the enemy, and that's how he's going to gain the stacks. At number Fragment of Shadow stacks, they are consumed to increase Reflejo's physical pierce by percentage, max number of stacks, and decrease damage taken by percentage for a number of seconds. So the Fragment of Shadows is definitely going to be important, but the physical pierce increase, very interesting. Like the fact that they're increasing his physical pierce, like is he going to be some sort of damage dealing debuffing unit? I don't know, but the physical pierce increase and decreased damage taken, very, very solid. Now for his next active skill, Death Moon Shadow, it says, a Reflejo launches Shadow Shinsu in a fan-shaped area to deal percentage of his attack as damage to enemies in range. He plants shadows that gnaw at the enemies Shinsu to decrease their evasion by percentage for a number of seconds, then deals a percentage of his attack as additional damage using Demon Moon. So it seems like he has evasion decrease in his active skill and passive. So he's going to decrease the enemy's evasion by a lot. And of course, he's going to deal some additional damage using Demon Moon. Now, for his next active skill, a ninth Moon Shadow, it says, Reflejo slashes the enemy in the shape of a cross to deal a percentage of his attack as damage number of times. He absorbs their shadow for a number of seconds. If the last attack lands, dealing percentage of their physical resistance and magic resistance. So he's not really shredding their physical and magic resistance. He's basically stealing it, which is very interesting. So is he going to apply the enemy's physical and magic resistance to himself? I don't know, but this active skill is pretty solid. This is pretty good. Deals damage and then steals the enemy's physical and magic resistance. Pretty good. Now for his special move, it says Full Moon Shadow. A Reflejo swings a large scythe to deal a percentage of his attack as damage to nearby enemies and send them airborne for a number of seconds. After Reflejo's damage taken with each hit does not exceed a percentage of his max HP for a number of seconds. Reflejo becomes invincible while using this skill. So this is probably like the barrier here that makes him invincible right here. So when he's using that, that's literally his ultimate. So his ultimate has huge AoE. Now, if I'm being honest, I thought his ultimate was going to be very similar to Yi Ring, but it's just a huge AoE swing of his scythe, and he's going to be invincible when he uses this. Pretty good. So that's pretty much Reflejo's kit. I will say his kit looks pretty solid. Physical and magic resistance shred. Like he's pretty much stealing the enemy's physical and magic resistance, evasion decrease, a decrease in amount of damage he takes, increasing his own physical pierce. Looking pretty good. It seems like, it seems like he's definitely going to be, he's obviously going to be a debuffing unit, but the physical pierce, very interesting. Very interesting choice right here. So they're trying to amplify his damage with through his passive, but I have a feeling that he's definitely going to be a tanky unit because his special move, it says after Reflejo's damage taken with each hit does not exceed a percentage of his max HP for a number of seconds. So the damage taken decrease is honestly pretty good for him, and he has invincibility as well. So both characters look really solid. Khun Asensio, the fish attack where it's constantly going around the battlefield, shredding enemies' physical resistance, placing projectile blocking projectile attacks, dealing damage, HP recovery for Khun Asensio, and for Reflejo, you have, magic and resistance. He's stealing that from the enemy, decreasing their evasion, invincibility, damage taken reduction. Both characters seem pretty solid overall. So really excited for these two units. Of course, we have to test and see, how well they can perform, especially Reflejo, his survivability, and for Khun Asensio, definitely want to see, his damage and how well he can survive on a battlefield. So those are pretty much the two upcoming characters. Now for the update details, if we come over here to notices, we have the update maintenance. Now we already know about this, but we're pretty much going to have 1,000 suspendium for update maintenance reward. The update is literally going to be tomorrow night. It's going to be tomorrow night. And then the costumes, we're going to have pretty much 7 costumes in total for the fall event, which is insane. 2 new fall costumes and re-release of 5 fall costumes. So I'm pretty sure for the new players who didn't have access to Kaseya skin, you'll be able to get the fall Kaseya skin for free. Excuse me. You'll be able to get her skin for free through the fall event. And then of course we have 2 ignition weapons coming soon. Fall festival missions, fall festival event exchange shop. We also have Kunadon event boss battle. We pretty much went over all of this. Now for miscellaneous, it says increase in revolution currencies for weekly and monthly missions with the addition of adventure chapters. So it seems like we're definitely going to get more revolution fragments, which is really solid. And the fact that it says with addition of adventure chapters, so you mean to tell me every time we complete a floor, we'll be able to get revolution fragments? If that's true, that's really good. But we have Shinsu link level expansion and a revolution room event improvements, daily weekly mission improvements. pretty much went over all of that through the Dev Note and the September calendar. So really excited for the next update. Both characters look absolutely amazing. Their kids don't seem broken to me, but they do seem interesting, and I feel like they have potential. So we're just gonna have to wait and see when they're in game, and I'm gonna test them out. Hopefully, they perform well because they are warrior units. So, hopefully they're actually really, really good. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys in today's video. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate it. I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.